or good night. I'm just having my coffee, saying good morning to the day, which is rather chilly, rather cold where I am. And I decided to share a little story time. Now, this isn't any story time. This is a dream time, dreaming story time, okay? And obviously, I'm as organized and prepared as I always am. Okay, dreaming is a superpower of mine. You may know this. You may suspect this. You may have worked this out. Let me tell you about a dream I had the other night. I won't tell you the whole dream, but I will say that at a significant part of the dream, I saw floating in the time-space continuum, in the ethereal, literally in ethereal energy, literally in the ether. I saw the ether. And I saw, you know how we talk about different channels or like different platforms here on YouTube? Obviously, platforms can exist in multiple different spaces, multiple different digital portals, multiple digital apps, blah, blah, blah. And the platforms that different YouTube tarot readers had were physical platforms. They were physical platforms that were moving up and down in the time-space continuum, in the ether, in the realm beyond the realm. If you know, you know, blah, blah, blah. This message will not resonate with everyone. Not everyone will get it or understand the significance of this story time of a dream. Which, did I mention, is a superpower of mine. And yeah, I'm coming to some decisions about exactly what to do with that. Slowly but surely. Although, what is time, right? That's also something that's been coming through a lot. What is time? So in this time-space continuum, in this ether, in this ethereal space, there were these different platforms moving up and down. And on top of these different platforms were different YouTube tarot readers. I'm not going to specifically say which ones, and not all of them I necessarily immediately identified or recognized from this space here, YouTube. I think it's interesting that we talk about people having different platforms. What does that mean? That brings about ideas of like being able to move or bounce or transition from a platform. Brings about ideas of like the soapbox. If you don't know what a soapbox is, look into what a soapbox is. But in this dream, there were literally tarot readers or slash spiritualists on YouTube on these separate individual platforms that were moving up and down. They seem to be moving from the depths of darkness up into the ether space. Some of you may imagine or see, like it's almost like there could have been stars, but I didn't see stars. Clearing the throat chakra, clearing this space. And I was off to the side, like diagonally to the side, watching these different content creators on their individual platforms being bounced up and down. And as they were going up and down, whenever their platform, this energetic platform, was pushed up into the sky, up into this kind of plateau, they would perform, right? So they were like, some of them were like dancing, some of them were like, you know, talking, some of them were like energetically pulling cards or whatever. And then where it looked like they were looking at an audience, they were actually performing to this mechanism that was taking in all of their performances, taking in all of their energy, and filtering it down into a etheric chord. Yeah. So we talk about etheric chords. We talk about having energetic chords to people. We talk about having cord cutting ceremonies or cord cutting rituals in order to cut off etheric energetic cords that you have to people, places, or things in your life that do no longer serve you, blah blah blah. You know the routine. And it seemed to me that at a certain stage of the number of times the platforms had risen up into this plateau within the ether, and this mechanism, this device, had absorbed and sucked their performance, or taken in their performance in order to channel it through this gigantic ethereal cord, then that person would morph and flip into a different content creator. And I guess in that way also their platform was transforming at the same time. And I didn't look all the way to the left because I didn't need to, but I could see that this ethereal cord was then splitting off into multiple directions and being fed off somewhere else. I didn't want to look to where it was being fed. And there's this real sense of like panic, desperation, like I almost said lustiness, like greed, hunger. I don't like this expression, but Moorish, like a Moorish energy. Obviously, because I don't like that expression, because I believe it comes from being connected to the Moors. Yeah, so dreaming is a superpower of mine, and I'm being drawn to remind you that your astral space is your own, and decisions that you make in the astral space, much like decisions you make in the 3D reality, all have butterfly effects, ripple effects that go out throughout the entire collective and through multiple lifetimes. And I just think it's funny that I wasn't judging them, but I was definitely sitting back and watching. And it had this kind of sacrificial energy to it, which I think is significant. After I had that dream in the last 2 days, I have come across and done more research about plasma, and found out that there has been apparently 10 different reports from NASA space missions of observing clouds of plasma that exist in the upper realms of the atmosphere above Earth. And part of the reason that dreaming, the astral space, channeling visions, but specifically via dreaming, is something that I'm so good at, that is such a superpower of mine, is because I have an increased amount of plasma in my vessel, in my spinal cord, in my actual mind, in my physical brain, over my whole body, right? Which of course changes what my ethereal body is, the shape, the form, the magnitude, the density of my ethereal body. And yeah, so much love. Mais oui. So much love from Codes of Harmony. Of course, you can add any comments. Mwah!